Starting off with box squats. This is 385 pounds. I'm currently doing the box squat. This is the second block of my program. It's just a different exercise, a different variation of the back squat, which I'm trying to PR by the end of my program. The box squat with the safety squat bar is going to let me overload the squat pattern. As you can see, when I'm doing the reps, it has a slightly shorter range of motion. And the safety squat bar is going to shift more of the weight onto my hips instead of my quads. Both of those are going to allow me to load the movement heavier and be able to hit it at higher speeds than I would in the traditional. All right, we added 10 more pounds total, so we're up to 395 now. I'm currently using giant sets as my rep scheme and progression scheme. So instead of a traditional fixed set program in regards to maybe doing 5x3 or 3x5 or whatever, I assign myself a certain number of reps at the beginning of the program. So this block, I'm doing these box squats for 10 total reps, and I can break that up however I want. That could be a bunch of doubles, it could be a couple sets of 3, maybe I can go for a top set of 4 and then just finish it off and fill it out however I want. I also use an OVR, which I'm using my other phone for, and there's a little device down here at the bottom which tracks the speed of my reps. This kind of tells me what kind of intensity and percentage of my 1 rep max I'm working at. So the goal here is I'm trying to stay above 0.35 meters per second, which is actually what my last rep was at. So my goal is to stay above that speed. If I can do that hitting doubles, then I'll hit doubles. If I can do a triple, because maybe my last 2 reps were pretty fast, then I'll go ahead and do that. But I'm just trying to stay within a certain speed range and hit a certain number of reps in order to accomplish all of my volume. That last one was 0.31, which is a little below where we want it. Instead of being a slave to the rep scheme, I can just take longer rests, I can do less reps, I can drop the weight, although that is the last thing that I want to do. Kind of want to expose myself to heavier weight whenever possible. But if I'm having a really crappy day, I didn't sleep as much, a lot of life stress going on, whatever it might be, I kind of have those options in order to work on all those different levers instead of kind of worrying about trying to hit that really strict, I have to hit these reps for these number of reps. The other nice thing about using speed as a variable to dictate your weight over just going off of percentages and RPE is that you have something directly to compete with. So the fastest rep that I hit here was 0.44 meters per second. If I tell myself, hey, I want to break a certain speed because this was my fastest rep and I want to try to match that, just that goal setting and having something tangible to work towards can help increase your output and your intent during a set. Oh yeah, that was fast. That was my fastest one yet. Oh yeah. So I'm doing a deficit split squat variation now with also using the safety squat bar. Since the last movement had a little bit of a reduced range of motion, the box squat kind of is a little more liberal in having to hit depth on the squat. I'm using the deficit on this one in order to compensate for that. I'm also using lighter weights and trying to hit that for higher reps because I essentially just hit a bunch of doubles on the box squats. So just hitting a different part of the rep range just to kind of spread myself out and get some more diverse stimulus. So I have not done this variation, so we're going to see how many reps I hit, but the goal is definitely above 10. That was 12 for 165 pounds. Time to do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna do that, both sides, again for one more set. Up next, barbell curls. I've typically found that my legs tolerate a lot less volume than my upper body, which one, they're way bigger muscles, so they generate a lot more fatigue and stress on the body. And two, there's a lot more functions and muscles in the upper body, so it makes more sense to allocate more volume to them. So instead of just adding more legs for the sake of training legs, I just try to throw on some upper body training on my leg days in order to give them a little more volume, get them to grow a little more. My arms have always kind of been a weak spot, so I try to dedicate a certain amount of volume to them. And that also kind of gives my legs a break. I do have one leg exercise after the bicep curls. That was 100 pounds for 10 reps. I like to use a similar giant set system here. I guess this will be closer to myo reps. So my goal is a total of 20 reps, and I just hit one set to failure, and then I do a bunch of smaller sets to failure until I hit a minimum of 20. Oh, shoot. I only got to hit 2. That's it. Let's just finish this. Okay. Let's hit a few more if I can. That's it. Oh. Last exercise, sissy squats. I'm just gonna try to hit an AMRAP, as many as possible, isolating the quads. Nice thing about sissy squats is that you can regress them into Hindu squats. The harder and harder the sissy squat gets, and you'll see that by me flexing my hip more and more throughout the set. I'll use these for assistance and balance. Primarily balance. My goal is not to lean my weight on them. All right, start resting them. All right, that's it. That's my leg day. All right.